Hi, this is Michael Buckoff from BetterTOEFLScores.com, and today I want to talk about learn to note take as you read, ask the right questions. There's three things that are very important for your reading and your note taking. Number one, pre-reading strategies. Two, reading for structure. And three, reading for style. First, let's talk about pre-reading strategies. Many students tell me that TOEFL IBT reading is challenging. Furthermore, since the speaking and writing sections also require you to read, you should treat this challenge seriously. As a result, you will need to practice extensive reading over an extended period of time, and while doing your reading, you will want to maximize your reading experience. There are some pre-reading activities that you can do, all of which will help you to connect your personal experiences to those ideas in the reading, to get you thinking about the existing knowledge and experience you have that relate to the reading, to share information and vocabulary relating to the reading, and to encourage you to ask questions guessing what the reading is about. It is not, however, advised that you practice these pre-reading activities during an actual TOEFL IBT test. Pre-reading improves your overall reading comprehension. Of course, if pre-reading increases your overall comprehension, you will improve in your TOEFL IBT reading score. Additionally, using these effective pre-reading strategies will help you to speak and write more accurately about campus-related and academic reading passages. Why do some learners have so much difficulty with reading passages? First, they have limited vocabulary. Second, they do not practice or are aware of reading strategies. Third, they have not practiced extensive reading for 45 to 60 minutes a day for several months. It is because of one of these three reasons that many TOEFL IBT test takers have low reading scores. To improve your reading comprehension, you need to learn how to pre-read. First, before a chapter or TOEFL reading passage, spend 5 minutes writing about what you already know about the topic. Second, survey the reading passage by looking at titles, subtitles, and so on. 3. Based on steps 1 through 2, make some predictions. Write these in note form about what the text will be about. What is the main idea of this text? How do you know? What is the purpose of this reading passage? How do you know? Who's the intended audience for this text? How do you know? 4. Read the first line of each paragraph and then write a response to the following questions. What is the main idea? What is the author's opinion on the topic? What does the author want you to believe? How do you know this? Practicing these pre-reading activities before reading a passage will help you to understand more deeply and more critically. Additionally, it gives you a chance to practice your writing and note-taking skills. And if you choose to give oral responses to any of the above questions, it will help prepare you for TOEFL IBT speaking. Now let's talk about reading for structure. To prepare for TOEFL IBT reading, you will need to read to not only practice reading academic passages, but also respond to how the passages are organized. That is, you should consider the structure of those reading passages. There are some things you can do which will improve your ability to understand the organization of reading passages. Map the organization of the passage by dividing the text into two sections, the introductory paragraph and the conclusion. Draw a line after the introduction and right before the conclusion begins. Then use the following methods of note-taking to help you understand the reading passage. Remember, your purpose is to learn to read rhetorically, a skill which will help you tremendously for TOEFL IBT and for college-level reading assignments. First, Make a map of the idea structure of the passage by drawing a circle in the center of the page and label it with the text's main idea. Then record the text support ideas on branches that connect it to the central idea. Ask yourself, how are these ideas related? Describe the structure of the reading passage by making a descriptive outline. Make some brief statements about each paragraph or section. How does each section affect the reader? What is the writer trying to accomplish? What does each section say? Once you have made a descriptive outline, ask questions about the organization of the reading passage. Which paragraph is the most or least developed? Should the writer have developed a paragraph more? Did the writer spend too much time developing a particular paragraph? Which section has the most or least compelling argument? Using the map that you constructed in step 1, ask yourself, what is the main argument of the text? Is it an explicit or implicit argument? 3. Like TOEFL IBT reading passages, make a chart so you can fill in the main points, arguments, keywords, and so on. Once you've completed steps 1 through 3, create a 150-word summary of the structure of the text using your maps, outlines, and charts. Now, after reading, or after listening to what I've been telling you right now, you might be thinking to yourself, wow, reading rhetorically sure takes a lot of effort. True. Being an active reader requires careful thought and meaningful notes. But approaching reading from this perspective will help you to be better prepared for TOEFL IBT rhetorical questions or better prepared for assigned readings in college classes. Now let's talk about the third thing that's important in terms of your note-taking. Analyzing style in reading passages. To become proficient TOEFL IBT reader, you need to understand the main ideas and critical supporting points. Of course, being able to do this presupposes that you have adequate reading speed of 180 to 350 words a minute, a solid vocabulary base, and an ability to concentrate. But even having these basic skills is not enough. You need to learn to read rhetorically. In addition to understanding what the reading passage is about, you will need to understand how certain parts of the reading passage relate to other parts. Furthermore, you will need to understand why the writer has included a specific word or groups of words. It is the why and the how TOEFL IBT reading questions that often have students scratching their heads. Additionally, it is common for university professors to engage you in class discussions. They may ask, how does the writer structure his or her argument, or why does the writer include such a long paragraph on page 5? Learning to read rhetorically is not easy. In fact, many English language learners cannot even read for basic understanding, let alone engage in reading rhetorically. Why is this? First, if English learners do not have the basic reading skills mentioned in the first paragraph of this message, they will be unable to read rhetorically. Your reading proficiency will progress something like this. First, you have basic reading skills, and then you get some strategies. Then you learn how to read rhetorically, then you become better in critical thinking, and finally you get a high TOEFL IBT reading score. Now, English learners may not know the right kinds of questions to ask so they can approach a reading passage from a rhetorical perspective. While reading rhetorically can be explored from many perspectives, this post will conclude with some specific questions to help you analyze the writer's style in a reading passage. Why does the writer use certain words? What are the meanings of key words, and what emotions or feelings do some of these key words have on the audience? For example, if I say the word undocumented immigrant and illegal alien, I think in American culture these words have the same meaning, but will evoke different emotional feelings on readers. For example, if somebody uses the word undocumented immigrant, they don't see immigrants being in the United States as a problem. If they say illegal alien, the attitude toward the speaker who uses this word is suggesting that these people do not belong here in the United States. Now, in addition to these first two things that you should think about, are there any words or synonyms repeated? If so, why does the writer repeat those things? It's very common in reading passages for writers to repeat things because it's a way of connecting ideas to the thesis of the essay. Additionally, a writer may repeat something for emphasis purposes. Okay, how about 4? Does the writer use any figurative language? If so, what does it imply? Usually, when the writer uses figurative language, he or she is trying to explain something which is unfamiliar to something which is familiar. Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. Martin Luther King once said, injustice is like a boil. It can never be cured unless it's covered up. The next question, what effect do the sentence structure and length have on the reader? What effect does the paragraph length have on the reader? How would you characterize the tone of the reading passage? For example, is it impersonal, passionate, argumentative, humorous, or sarcastic? How does the writer create that tone? Read part of the reading passage to convey that tone. Now, understanding the tone is pretty important for TOEFL IBT. It's quite common, for example, on the TOEFL integrated writing sections of the test where you'll read a reading passage which discusses one thing, and then you'll hear a lecture maybe which disagrees with the information that's presented in the reading passage. So in one of those, either the reading or the listening, there could be what's called an argumentative tone. So you either as a reader or listener, you have to be pretty good at picking out that tone. Here's another question for style. Is the reading passage formal or informal? How do you know? How does the writer write the passage that way? How would the reading passage be written differently if it were written for a different audience? For example, on TOEFL IBT, a lot of times with the campus-related conversations or campus-related passages that you might read, these are going to be less formal, and the language or vocabulary will be more common to conversational language. However, a lot of the reading passages in the reading section and then the academic reading passages in the speaking and writing sections of the test would be more formal. Now, if I said about whom, this is the person about whom I was telling you, that's formal. If I say this is the person I was telling you about, obviously that's going to be less formal. Now, it's important to practice reading college-level writing and write answers to some of these rhetorical questions so you can analyze the writer's words, sentences, paragraphs, and the entire essay. Soon enough, you will have learned how to read rhetorically, and then you will be able to better answer questions on the TOEFL IBT, especially as they relate to rhetorical questions.